Hi everybody, this is Erin. I'm here to talk about my teacher interview for social studies for LIC 534. I actually didn't do my interview with my partner teacher. I did it with a teacher at a different elementary school at Holly Tree Elementary that I have a connection with, and that's actually the elementary school that I attended. And so it was really interesting to see the answers that I got because I have sort of a different perspective on it now than I did at the time that I attended the school. And I really wanted to get a different experience and a different insight from another teacher in another school than as I've already done an interview with my partner teacher at Forest Hills. So I was excited to get another opportunity to get a different perspective. So these are the questions that I asked. How would you describe the way you approach social studies planning? Can you tell me about resources school or school system has, challenges you face, planning field trips with social studies themes, and advice you have just about teaching social studies? So social studies is not an area that I particularly love or that I had great experience with in school, and I was really wanted to ask these specific questions because I wanted to understand how a teacher thinks about it, who is a good social studies teacher that could help me in the future with how I approach things, and especially with starting your planning, how you approach it. That's a really important aspect because if you start it on the right note, on a good note, then you can build on that. Resources are scarce for social studies in most places, but I wanted to ask this teacher because as a teacher, she has a much different perspective and insight to things that I don't. So I wanted to ask about those challenges you face in any classroom setting, but in social studies in particular, I wanted to see, what it is that she sees in her classroom that kids may not respond to, or what other challenges she has. And field trips, to me, field trips, especially social studies ones, are the things that kids remember when they grow older. That's what I remember from my school days is taking field trips or taking trips as a class to do certain things. And I wanted to see if she had any particular field trips that she liked to go do. And then the last one, advice, just a general question that I like to ask any teacher is just give me some advice, please, because I need it. So the first question, her basic answer was that she starts it by looking at the curriculum in the units. She tries to incorporate it with other subjects like reading, but that can be kind of difficult because in their school they switch classrooms and teachers for each subject, and so it creates a very separated blocks for each subject, and so it can be difficult to incorporate one into the other. And she told me that they only have 30 minutes for their social studies block, and that's not a lot of time. So the way that they do it is they do 3.5 weeks, each 9 weeks for social studies, and the rest of the time is science. So she does 4 large units that cover the whole year. The first one focuses on geography, the second is early history, the third is continuation of history, moving up probably up into modern times, and the last one is government and culture. And so the resources that she told me about were, first thing she said was, unfortunately there aren't many, but the county of New Hanover has a social studies liaison, which I had no idea about, and they actually compile resources and send them to them so they can use those. Holly Tree uses this newspaper called NC Studies Weekly, which is a really easily formatted newspaper for kids to read, and it has a lot of excellent background information. So she uses that to start a unit a lot of times and then uses that to build off of it. One of the other big things she said was vocabulary, which is something Forest Hills also uses. She had one that she used for her government unit where they had a rap song about the 3 branches of government, and the songs and things that they do are really catchy and engaging, and the kids absolutely love them. But a lot of her social studies really is students, research, and presentations. So the challenges that she faces in the class, the hardest part is really that there's not a lot of time. And I hear that from a lot of teachers about social studies. And there's good and bad to that, because you can have a lot of freedom in how and what you teach in social studies, because there aren't a lot of restrictions on you. But on the flip side of that, it means that there's a lot more effort on you as a teacher, which can be overwhelming. For the social studies field trips, so the county, New Hanover County, plans one social studies themed field trip each year for elementary students. And in 4th grade, they go to the Cape Fear Museum and learn about life in early Wilmington, and then they go to the Burgwin Wright House to tour that old home and learn about life in North Carolina colonies. What's fun is they get to play games, and they dress up in colonial dress, and they learn a dance that's from that time period. What's funny is that like I said earlier, field trips are the things that kids remember. Because I attended this elementary school, I actually remember this field trip specifically, and I remember dressing up and learning that dance, and it was so much fun. And so it's funny that that she mentioned that. So the last one about advice, she really just said that teaching social studies needs to be about having fun, and making sure the students don't think that it's boring, which is something that I thought when I was going through school, and it's a trap that a lot of teachers can fall into. And so having more hands-on activities, reenactments, engaging in effective creative activities that are more open-ended, that involve not just really worksheets or videos or things like that that can get pretty boring if you're not careful. So it was really great to see the answers that this teacher gave me, and I was very happy to have the advice and the insight from her.